Protecting the future of working families, Teamsters, 1932.org.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and nbrradio.us. We got to bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. All right, good evening and welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also, stream from the KCAA Radio.com website. The station leaves no listener behind. Oh my goodness. What a night we're going to have tonight. Welcome to the show. It is a Trench Talk US edition plus Sports Collective TV, media, and radio edition here tonight. So I hope you are prepared and ready to have a good time. Listen in. If you got any kind of questions, you want to hit us up at Farron Dozier on all those platforms. You can go to Sports Collective Media on Instagram. And I don't do this by myself. Shouts out to, what's up, Robert Lamar?
Oh, wait a minute. Can you hear me? Can you hear Robert Lamar?
Yeah. He's got you over there.
Okay, just checking. Hey, another Sunday, another day, man. It's I don't know what's up with this ugly weather today.
Man,
Looked like it was gonna rain.
I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
That's what they're
saying. Or it looks like it.
So I'm glad I didn't wash my car. I would have been hot. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, well, I'll wash my car. It's clean and okay, whatever. I'll do it again. No, I would have been very upset if I would have washed my car yesterday like I planned on doing. Didn't know it was gonna rain. But
I was about to say one of those car washes that I utilize, but they ain't pay for that sponsorship, so they don't get no feedback. But I understand.
It is what it is.
Everything's cool?
Yeah, everything's cool, man. Just we had a good weekend with the son. Shout out to my son, Marmar.
Is he gonna get on the mic with us to talk some basketball or what?
He's like, nah. He's like, nah. Yeah, you gonna do that?
We got two in studio guests, ladies and gentlemen, that do not want to get on the mic tonight. Ain't that something?
Yeah, we gonna get you on the mic.
I was prepared to ask you some questions about basketball. No?
No. Wow.
Oh,
wow. And he's this big old baller, but he don't want to talk.
Wow.
Come on, man.
All right,
Funny.
all right. We'll see by the end of the show. You too. Let's see what's going on. So this week I'm flying out to the ABA owners meeting, man. Now that I have these three teams, Ventura County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino County, there was just some things that went on this season that I'm just like, I can't let that slide. When you go to any NBA game, everything's across the board, right? Mm-hmm. All the 3-point line, all the all that stuff is, it's not like that in the ABA, bro. You got teams playing games on high school 3-point line, counting that as a three. But then you got other teams like us who's got the 3-point line that's legit.
Well, do you guys have markings for the schools that do not have NBA?
You're supposed to tape the line on the floor, right? That was the rule. They don't do that.
So they're not allowed to have a 3-point shot if that's the case, right?
But or get penalized for it. Something's supposed to happen.
Well, you just can't have a 3-pointer in that game if they don't tape it off.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the IE Hounds, we lost a game that in any other court would have been a 3, but because we had the regular 3-point line, it didn't count. So
that sounds pretty ghetto to me.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm going to the meeting this week, man, and I just
might need to throw a chair up in there too.
Nah, I know how to communicate.
Yeah, but if they the heck with your communication, they not getting your point. You got to go Bob Knight.
They're gonna get my point.
You need to go Sergeant Dozier.
They're gonna get my point.
Okay.
I'm cool with it. I already know. They gave me time to speak and everything, so I'm on the clock.
How many minutes they give you to speak?
I don't care. I do it in 60 seconds if I get 60
you don't need 60. You need like a whole 3 hours of just
they
letting them know why they ain't worth a damn.
It's probably about 20 minutes.
Like you ain't worth a damn because, and there we go. That's how we start.
That's the one. And then we had an episode where one of the coaches knew the referee, right? and that referee refereed our last game. And
we got point shaving going
for
on?
some reason, we up by 30, and then the third and fourth quarter kick in, and we
then
43 free throws to 14.
Ooh.
And we lose by 1 on that jumper that was not counted as a 3. Or we would have won by 1.
Do you think that maybe you guys should learn how to know some referees, maybe? Or do you think that this can be taken care of?
We brought it to the league, and the league is like, no, they have integrity. They wouldn't do that.
Oh, of course not.
They wouldn't do that.
Of course not. So
I'm like, subconsciously they would.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you know how to apply as a referee? I will ref all your games.
Okay, I'll hook you up.
I will ref all your games. You'll never have to worry about free throw discrepancies ever again.
But these are the things that that's like, how can we have an honest season? And my guys are chasing the championship, and then we lose to these kind of we can't prove it. So what they told us was what you got to do is you got to play the game, film it, and then if you feel like there's a discrepancy, send us the footage. So we did all of that.
Everybody don't film their games?
Not everybody, no.
Oh, that should be mandatory.
Again, I filmed all mine.
Everybody should have some type of videographer.
The Hounds did. So
I know one that was hitting me up to try to come up in here, try to get an interview.
Oh yeah, I own that team now. That's the team
that's funny. So are you gonna get them in here?
Of course. Guess who's gonna do those interviews for us?
Who?
Cali Sportsman. He's coming back.
My man, Cali. You know what? Hey, we need some Cali sportsmen up in here.
We put him out of retirement.
One thing that Cali sportsmen did was always make sure that we had scenery. Shout out to that.
Well, maybe that's what's missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what's coming up this week. Well, so I'm debating on trying to figure out how we're gonna do the show. If I do it from the phone call, or we do it on, because I'll probably be in my hotel room by that time. The championship game should be over on Sunday, so I'll probably we'll probably talk about doing the show.
Yeah, if you see me in a referee uniform,
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Did you know what time it is? I'm gonna walk up in here.
We're out. Our season's done. So,
yeah.
But those are the kind of things I got to talk about to try to figure out how we're gonna have this across the board, because it doesn't make sense. That's my gripe.
All right. Well, we'll see how that works with you being Mr. Diplomatic.
I'm not diplomatic, but I'm speaking facts.
That's fine. Speak the facts, but we need to make sure that there's some corrective
That's what
action.
I'm talking. That's why I'm going in person.
And if they do have corrective action, then that's cool.
But
if you're going to be all nice and
it's not about being nice. I don't have to act the fool to get my point across.
Well, if they do not make any changes,
we'll find out next season.
If they don't, then what? Are you going to listen to me?
I'll just go hire you, and you can go down there and talk to them. You want to throw chairs?
I don't want to talk.
I thought you wanted to throw some chairs.
That's you.
I don't need to throw a chair.
I don't own anything. You do. You own 3 teams.
I don't need to throw chairs.
I can infiltrate the system. I could be a ref. And I could just throw their whole, we can bet money on games. We can do a whole lot.
Turn his mic off real quick.
I'm just saying, you want point shaving.
No, we don't need that. We got players.
Of course,
we
you're
got
not
going
to point shave, of course.
But
if I'm refereeing, and I'll take side bets on the side, and then we'll go from there.
We got athletes. Anyways.
We'll go from there.
Thank you, Robert Lamar. We're in the zone in a second with Robert Lamar. What else? Go to farrond.com. I'm doing another Shattered Thoughts conversation. This one's going to be virtual. I did the first one down in Paris, California, but I felt like this time we would try to be virtually. So go to farrond.com. It'll be right there on that first page. I think there's how many seats left? 9 or 10 seats left right now. Virtual seats.
What's going on with that?
So I was asked to do a talk because of the emotional intelligence conversation that I do.
Yeah.
The community wanted, the veteran community wanted me to do a talk around that transition for the child being bounced around from different locations. And so we teach that that's a disconnection and transition from that child to parent already. So there's a family that asked me to do a talk like that so they could help, people get a better understanding of what that is around the depression, what the children are dealing with, but also for the veteran themselves, because I knew I look back in my career and I realized when I was married, like 2 weeks before I had to leave, I would disconnect from my family. So that when it was time to go, I didn't have that emotional.
Yeah.
And so that's a fracture.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes that could be enough to have that family divorce, separate, but the child is impacted. So they asked me to do a talk because I do that kind of dialogue now. So I'm going to do that one online this time. So instead of people trying to get to Paris, California, now they can just do it from their home.
Where?
I did it in Paris.
Where's that?
Down south.
I mean, never heard of it.
You know where Paris is at.
That's my point. Like, where's Paris? Ain't nobody gonna go to Paris.
Well, the people in that area.
Are you sure about that?
Well, like I said, not that many people showed up the last time, so that's why I'm doing it virtually, so they could just log in from their house. Because I'm like, all right, if this is gonna be important, it's 2025. Let's see if they wanna do that from the house.
They might have been sick, like fishing from that dirty old lake over there.
I was excited to do it, so we could have planned it, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But we planned it like in a couple of weeks. So whoever showed up was perfect. So, but this time we're gonna do it virtually.
Oh, it's gonna be better this time because there should be more participation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dope, man.
So FarronD.com. Shouts out to Jessica. I do the Beyond 2D with Jessica on her platform, the Breakthrough Network. And so she's hosting it with me on that platform. I was going to do it on Zoom, but Zoom is kind of boring. So she has this whole platform that we do on Beyond 2D that looks like, it'll look like this, but you'll be on the screen.
Oh, really?
In that little circle, yeah.
That sounds dope.
Oh, it's dope. It's going to be dope.
Huh.
It's going to be dope.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah, she's legit. So she's hosting it for me on her platform.
Somebody got to make things lively.
April 17th from 6 to 8, FarronD.com is virtual. You can have as many people as you want in your home that can watch and listen on as well. So that's why I did it that way, so they can have their family members there.
That's what's up.
And instead of trying to get to in person. So what else? Let's go to play our sponsor. This is Calmigo. Of course, it's dedicated to veterans. However, we understand that stress, anxiety, all human being flaws, right? And so as a veteran, I didn't want to take any drugs. I happened to meet this company, Calmigo. And so this is a device. For some of us, we know that sometimes you just got to control your breathing. That's enough to calm you down. So check out our PSA. Again, it's dedicated for veterans, but if you know someone in your family who could utilize this device, feel free to share it with them. This is the Farron Dozier Show. Robert Lamar's in the building. We'll be right back. Shout us out.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmigo. Calmigo is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmigo decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmigo.com to learn how you can get Calmigo through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Farron Dozier. I'm here at the military base, and I have the sickle cell trait. Now, why I got involved is I experienced what they call sickle cell trait exertion. And I was doing the Army physical fitness test, the 2-mile run, and when I got done, I collapsed. A lot of soldiers and athletes have been dying at football fields and running track, and the family members have no idea that they have the sickle cell trait gene or that it's a trigger. So my purpose is to mobilize the community so we can find out what's in your genes. How will life be if we could prevent another child from being born with sickle cell trait or disease? And if a child was born with the trait or disease, that the family members would have the education, awareness, and resources in every city that they lived in. So tune into our webinar series and find out what's the count.
What's the count? What's the count? What's the count?
All right, right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Again, also streaming from the KCARadio.com website. The station leaves no listener behind. We're going to have a couple of conversations this evening with you. Hopefully, you learned something. This Trench Talk, for me, it keeps me connected to my veteran community. One of the things that we miss, if you ask just about any veteran, is that camaraderie, right? And our platform, our show is dedicated to those veterans, but also people who have resources for veterans that support veterans, but also the family members. And so today, we actually have a guest who is connected to two of these three conversations. He's not a veteran himself, but he works with a veteran organization, and his dad was a veteran. So do me a favor, sir. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and we'll get started.
Yes, my name is Philip Hernandez. I have an organization called Casa Hernandez.
Cool.
And we team up with Point Man Ministry.
Cool. Thank you for hanging out tonight, man. I appreciate you.
It's really nice.
Shouts out to Fred for introducing us. The guy that has the show after us. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They were connected, and he was like, well, maybe he'd be better on your show because he has his music playing and all that stuff. So he's like, you already do that kind of military talk. So
Yeah.
he introduced us
Good
together.
for,
So,
yeah, that's dope.
yeah.
Yeah,
So.
you know, get in connection with each other.
Yeah,
like
Fred,
that.
Fred is an interesting guy. Shout out to Fred, man. Hey, Fred has it going in
Oh,
here.
man. We need a show. We need 2 hours. If we had 2 hours, we could have a live DJ and all
Yeah,
that,
we
too.
did. Oh,
He was
man.
really excited about this. He was really, really excited. He was calling me like every 5 minutes. You talk to him. You talk to him. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy, and we appreciate the relationship. So, what had you create your organization, if you want to start there?
Well, like I said, my dad was a Korean veteran. He was involved with helping Latino veterans in California back in the day. He was a reserve general, so he carried it down. You used to see there's a lot of pictures of him just being the only Latino there, of like 25 generals. It's
Yeah.
like it was pretty nice. But I've always hung out with him and went to all the events with him. So just meeting different peoples and just being a patriot. Really, we can't do enough for veterans.
Yeah.
And then I hooked up with these guys from Point Man Ministry, and oh my God, that was it. I'll tell you a quick story. I was having a dad day, and they do Bible studies on Thursdays, and I was just thinking of my father and Rudy Aguirre. He's the pastor, and we were just talking about it and everything. And I just told the Lord, give me a sign. He gives me a hat of a Korean hat on there. I'm like, oh my God. I go, this is the sign that the Lord gave me to say, I got to be with these guys, and we got to go forward and help them as much as we possibly can. So I'm looking to build a community for just veterans, help them out with everything what they deserve, and I'm working towards that. I have my golf tournaments, and I have this all-star football game, Catholic schools against public schools.
Yeah.
We had one out in Cantwell last year. It had a good turnout, but this year we couldn't do it because of the fire. The school I was going to have it at they had to redo the field and everything.
Yeah.
And, everything that's happening. So we're going to reschedule for next year, but it's fantastic. And Point Man always goes with me wherever I go. So they're good guys.
I don't want to glaze over your Pops now. Your Pops is legendary. What do you want to say about, what was it like growing up with Pops?
Tough.
Yeah.
Very strict, He expected the best out of all of us.
Yeah.
Anything we do, we have to be the best at it. We can't be just half-assed.
Yeah.
I was a pretty good little athlete, so I took
Oh,
that after
athlete?
him.
Oh,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
So we'll touch on that in a second. Pops being in the military, again, for us as children, like you said, sometimes we don't realize in those moments the love and the concern that they care for us comes across a little bit tough. As you got older, did you see that tough love, or how did you see it after
Oh
you
yeah,
got older?
oh yeah. I think the first time I ever heard "I love you" was when I was 50, and I had to look around, going, "Who's he talking to?" But he was like that. That's all boys. We're all brothers here, and all my buddies. They know how everybody in the neighborhood knew how my father was.
Yeah.
But we're all athletes too, so we did pretty good. My brothers were very intelligent. One of my brothers went to the service, but if I didn't go to college, I would have went to the service.
Really?
That's the options you have.
Yeah.
it's-
Especially back then. I know you're a little bit older than I am, so
A little bit, just a little bit.
I know that was kind of the direction.
Yeah, that's how it was. You didn't go to college, you didn't get a union job, you go to the service. That's it. And that's the only options you had, or you end up in jail.
Yeah.
So that's just how it works. Thank God none of that happened, except I went to college, and like I said, being around a military family, you just filter into that stuff.
What do you want to say about your siblings?
My siblings?
Yeah.
Oh, they're good. Well, 2 of them already passed away.
Okay.
But one of my brothers went to the service, airborne. My dad was an airborne soldier.
Yeah.
So my brother Gus, his junior, went to the service. I have another brother that's a chef that does really well, and then myself. We have 5 brothers. One of my little brother passed away, and he was a construction guy, hard worker. My dad ended up doing a construction. My dad was a probation officer. Yeah, he did a lot of things, but he ended up having a construction company, and my little brother worked for that. And if I wasn't working, I had to work there too.
Before we pass it to Robert Lamar, in case he has any questions, what do you want to say about moms? Anything about moms?
Oh, my mom was the best mom in the world, man. I love her to death. She cooked, man. I mean, just anything and everything, man.
Yeah.
From homemade tortillas to my buddies would be outside. We'd be hanging out, and she'd come out with a plate of tacos. And
Oh, that's it, huh?
oh my God, it's just. She's your typical Mexican mother, man. Always had beans in the refrigerator. Always fed everybody.
Yeah.
You can't come over to the house and not eat. That's just how
Everybody
it works.
eats.
A lot of my friends and my brother's friends would all come over. My mom would do, like cook for everybody, and our house was the house to hang out at, So my mom was always cooking. So she's the best in the world. I miss her. Both my parents are gone.
Both are.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate you sharing about when you was at the ministry with those gentlemen. Those moments that we experienced missing our parents. I recently lost, my dad passed away about 5 years ago now, and I had to catch myself because I kept saying I miss my dad, and it felt like I was putting on this jacket of my emotions and this weight. And in our personal development course, I was in there one day, and I mentioned that I felt like quitting because I felt like, just like forget it, I need a break. And then the coach said to me, remember, we're human beings. We have human experiences. And says when you experience missing your father, just be with that emotion. Yeah, and it'll pass. But just go be with. If you gotta cry, play music, like do whatever, be with that and don't hold it in, and it'll just pass.
That's why I tell people that, they say you live forever in God's eyes.
Yeah.
They live in your heart. They live forever in your heart. And you're right. You have a moment of crying. You have an emotional moment where you're like, man, I wish you're here, or look at me, send me a sign so I know you're watching over me. And I get them. When you read the Bible, you start seeing these things. It's like, wow, it really does. And they've been telling you this forever, but you finally figure it out when you're like 50 years old. Like, damn, that's how long it has to take.
And could you see that I learned from my grief experience that imagine somebody who didn't discover that they carry that resentment and regret of that parent. And that's why the child-to-parent relationship is so important to me. Because imagine carrying that as an adult now, and you're hearing your mom or dad's voice in your head about what you should have done and what you should be doing, and now you can't kind of acknowledge that. I just think that would just be devastating.
My advice for stuff like that is life's part of adjustments.
Yeah,
you have to adjust in life, and that's emotional is an adjustment where, okay, you got to figure it out.
Yeah,
this is happening because you miss the person. You have to have a natural love for your parents.
Yeah,
No matter how bad they treated you, you still love your parents no matter what. And that's just a natural thing for people as human beings.
Yeah. What sport did you play?
Played football and I ran track.
Oh, Rob Lamar, get him in the zone, man.
I was a high hurler, low
Get him in the
hurler,
zone,
relay,
Rob. Get him in the
relay.
zone.
Yeah, I was one of those fast Mexicans.
Strong too.
I had a picture, but my brother lost it, of league finals of the high hurdles. All brothers, me in first and Rudy Rodriguez in last. So yeah, I got good memories. If it wasn't for sports, I would have went to the service.
Yeah.
So I went to college and played ball. So.
Jeez.
I was just going to kind of get to that, because you grew up with military discipline from your pops, but sports could be a very great outlet.
Big time. Big time.
What emotional connection did you gravitate when it came to your sports at an early age when you got into it?
Being very aggressive. Sports, football, I think the best medicine for me during that time, because I used to get in fights a lot because people would talk to me like my father. My father was very disciplined, mind you. So no one else talked to me like that. So when anybody else did, I'd have a little chip on my shoulder. But football, I played halfback, so everybody's trying to catch me, but I was always fast, so I got away. But that helped me a lot as far as aggressiveness and getting it all out. But if it wasn't for sports, like I said, I would have went to the service, but it helps. The Lord takes you in your directions. Only He knows where you're going.
Right.
You know?
Where did you grow up at again?
In Monterey Park,
Monterey.
East LA.
Make sure
Okay.
you're talking to Mike. Make sure you're
Oh,
talking to
sorry.
Mike.
So around that area. So I mean, what I know, Monterey Park, East LA. What I think about is remember our quarterback we had, Adam.
Oh yeah,
Adam
yeah,
Baum?
yeah.
He was quarterback out of Garfield,
Oh yeah.
and
Garfield.
then their rival was Roosevelt.
Right.
So they've been playing some really good football in that area for a long time.
Yeah.
I had cousins in the '90s who played city section ball, whooping through everybody, and that was an undefeated team. And they got past Garfield, like from athlete to athlete, like they were like head and shoulders. But there's always a toughness in that area, where a lot of stuff gets nullified, and it gets mental. And those cats in that area have been bringing it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So
I
you're a
used to
part of
work
that.
in LA County probation, and a lot of the guys went to Sarah or Vermont Day and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We used to
Oh,
play against
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Because I went to Cantwell. He goes,
Okay.
man, you little Mexican guys would hit us, man. yeah, we do okay,
Yeah.
It was, I went to go see guys that played at the Shrine game
Yeah.
back in the day that went to those schools,
Yeah.
and as an athlete, there's no color line. You guys
Yeah.
are like brothers all the way around. I went to Eastern Oregon, and I'm going to a reunion September 13th to meet the guys.
Oh wow.
We're like, it's just
Still-
a brotherhood.
still
you have.
connected.
I had a
You know,
teammate in
respect,
college who went to
brotherhood.
Eastern Oregon.
Yeah.
There's I can't compare it to the military because my guys, they say you're one of me, the guys from Point Man. I go, I know you guys, appreciate you guys. They gave me a plaque for all the stuff I do. I love the guys to death, but I can never experience what they have.
Let me tell you, that's not correct, because the closest bond that us as veterans experience is that football experience. It's that camaraderie. It's that you'll go to battle for that
Yeah.
Yeah.
quarterback, that line. So the experience is definitely similar. I wouldn't discount
Well, no
that.
bullets are flying at
But
me.
yeah.
Like a big lineman wanting to kill me.
different
but okay.
different context. But the mental toughness, the mindset,
Yeah.
and that bond that you say you have, that's what we look. That's what we want that, and we need that. So that's why they include you. That's how me and Robert are together. That mindset is not different at all.
Well, you guys in the military also?
No,
he was.
My
He's
both of my
football.
grandfathers were World War II veterans.
Oh wow.
Both of them.
He's an athlete though, so
yeah?
we have that
Yeah.
that bond.
Yeah, I was pretty dope. I mean, it's
What sports you play?
818 cats.
football, track. I started out as a basketball player. I just didn't get taller.
Yeah.
But my height was pretty good to play tailback, and that's where I made my money.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Where'd you go at?
I went to Chatsworth.
Okay.
The
I went to
818.
Chatsworth, and then I was supposed to go. I went to Carolina, gray shirted, came back home, went to Moore Park, and I tore it up at Moore Park. Tore it up.
Moore Park's good. I've
Moore
heard of
Park, yeah,
Park.
we
Yeah.
were no joke at Moore Park.
Yeah.
No joke. And it's just one of those things where I kind of like fumbled my opportunity. That's why I kind of, when it comes to junior college, I tell people, like, you got to be really focused going into junior college, because junior college, it is made to break you. It's not made for you to get through, which it is, but most likely they anticipate on you like actually folding.
Yeah.
Well, now they're recruiting to junior colleges now.
You
When
know
I went
why?
to junior college, you had to live in the area to play in that college. So I used my coach's address to play at Rio Hondo. I was an All-American out of Rio Hondo.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I went to Eastern Oregon. I'm a Hall of Famer out of there. I broke records at every school I went to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
my
that's
my
legit.
teammate from Moore Park, my backfield mate, he actually went to Eastern Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Eastern Oregon.
What year?
He went,
I was there in '80.
man. He was in the 2000s. He like, what year?
You
like,
forgot how-
yeah,
that's
you,
right.
you
Forgot
were there
your
when you were
age.
there.
I forgot the teammate.
I mean, I don't even think when you were there. I don't even think he got squirted out yet. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, coming from the area of East LA, going to Eastern Oregon when it snowed. I went out there in my boxers going, this is snow? Because I've seen
Yeah.
it in the mountains,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
when
yeah.
you get there, it's all dirty.
Yeah,
But when
yeah.
it comes down, it's beautiful. And, I mean, I was like, we went to our games by bus. So I had to sit next to the coach. He wouldn't let me sit with the guys in the back because I was kind of like, the edgy kind of guy. So, he did take your shoes off when you're driving the bus. And my coach was cool, man.
Yeah.
Don Turner. And but I'd be in the window and say, "Oh, beautiful! This is nice." Like I said, when I go back, I just love it because it's not like down here. It's
Yeah.
nice and fresh and clean, and
Yeah.
we don't experience that stuff, huh?
It's wild you say that because a lot of athletes have a culture shock
Yeah.
when they go away.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Up
That'd
there, man.
be a hindrance sometimes. Mama spaghetti and all that. Like, I gotta go back home.
Oh, my mom sent tamales up there one time. One time, I had my roommate was the other Mexican on the team, which he was a punter from Yuma, Arizona, and I ended up living in Yuma, Arizona too. And his mom sent some taquitos, and my mom sent tamales. And then our
Wow.
offensive coordinator was from Santa Barbara, and he was a coach. So he made beans and rice, and we went to his apartment and we ate it. And all the guys are outside. Oh, yeah, this it. I go, wait a minute, guys. We need this stuff. We don't have this stuff up here. So we ate a little bit, and then we let the guys in, and they all devoured everything else.
Yeah.
But it was a good
That
experience.
sounded like you had a good experience for
Good
sure.
people up there, man, and we did pretty good. We did really well. So we lost one game, and we were ranked the number 11. And back then you can't lose no games to go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
So we lost one game, and oh my God, it was terrible. It was the longest drive home, but yeah, it happens.
Let's take this public service announcement break for some Call Me Go and another PSA for sickle cell trait. This is the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 10:50 a.m. Again, if you're in your car and you got to get out of that vehicle, grab your device or go and download the app. Yes, KCA Radio has an app. Go download the app and you can listen to us on your smartphone or devices. This is the Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, what's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
No, this is the Farron Dozier Show. I'm gonna do a little talk while he prepares the episode.
Muchos de nosotros nos vemos afectados por la enfermedad de células falciformes a diario y un número creciente simplemente no nos damos cuenta. Los impactos de esta enfermedad afectan a todas las personas y en especialmente a las personas de color y con antecedentes diversos. Estar en servicio conmigo y con los demás a medida que creamos una mayor conciencia sobre cómo identificar y dirigir el tratamiento de los rasgos de células falciformes y ayudar a las familias a saber cómo superar el trastorno de células falciformes. wdconsct.org. Gracias por su atención.
All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 10:50 a.m. Again, if you want more information about sickle cell trait, go to wdconsct.org. Just so you know, Rhabdomyolysis Awareness Month is April, so I've lined up quite a few guests to do small segments around rhabdo. I just saw an article of an MMA fighter who was doing some training, and he passed away from a condition with rhabdomyolysis. He's an amateur MMA fighter, Jake Sindler. He's from the UK area. Recently, 21 years old, training for a fight and collapsed and died from rhabdomyolysis. And so that conversation is very important. I experienced that in the military, part of what ended my military career. And so mine was connected to the sickle cell trait. So we're starting to find out that even, they have listed that there are other things that can cause rhabdo, inherited genes, cholesterol medication, statin kind of drugs like that, but also most recently infections. There have been a lot of children that have been sick with this new flu virus, that the high fevers over the period of time has caused the creatinine kinase levels in the muscles to break down and get into the bloodstream, and now these children are having the rhabdo experiences. So again, in April, we will be having some talks, interviewing some people who experience rhabdo, some campaigns and stuff going on. So very important conversation. It is a public health issue, so that's why I expressed that topic on this platform. Information, farrond.com if you want to find out all the other things that we're up to. All right, sir. Let's talk about your organization. As we were talking offline, you said it's very important for Vietnam veterans, for all of our era, for me, to be able to come to a place and kind of share their experience. Give us some of your what's so and your whys.
Well, my mission plan is to have Casa Hernandez, when the veteran kids have the service, to contact us to help them get their benefits, their schooling, the housing, and just to appreciate them, let them know that we're there for them.
Yeah.
There's so much organizations out there, but yet there's 29,000 homeless veterans in California, 6,000 committing suicide every year, and you don't hear about that.
Yeah.
I have a niece that's a veteran, and she talks about that bridge over there in Pasadena, and I was willing to put my guards there because I also own a security company, and put guards there to keep that from happening, and no one said nothing about it. So it's like, how do we let that happen? So
You're talking about that's the same bridge that they jumped off of during the you said it earlier, the Depression. That bridge that goes from into Pasadena between Glendale and Eagle Rock.
yeah, right by the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked with vet hunters, and around 2016, they had some of our motorcycle members go and sit there sometimes at night because of what you're talking about.
Mhm.
So.
What they did is they raised the fence up,
Oh, they did.
so that helped out a lot.
Okay.
But there's so much
didn't
more we could
notice.
do. There's so much we could do for the veterans that we need to do, and we're not doing it yet. So, like I said, veterans help veterans, and there's some civilians like myself that
Yeah.
that want to help. And like I said, my dad, my brother, I have uncles, and I have uncles that fought with General Patton and everything.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know one of the things I share that as far as a veteran, we're programmed, I could say it that way, that to think that civilians are not going to understand us once we become the soldiers. And it is a wedge between the veteran community and the civilian community.
Yeah.
And I learned, I don't understand Farron, so why would I have that much pressure for you to try to understand me, right?
Right.
So the kind of show that we have is a relatedness. And if we can get people to relate to one another, use your imagination. You use it for everything else. Imagine what would you do in that situation? How would you feel in that situation? And that's what we're hoping, that we can connect the veteran community back to the civilian life, because of how we're taught that once our brain clicks over,
well,
they're not going to understand you.
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And they're not told, or they're not mentioned, that to say, this is what they've been through, or we have to adjust to this. So to expose that, or get like my guys from Point Man Ministry, they're all Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
They would like to talk about how when they came home, the emotions kind of got messed up during that time. But they've old enough now to understand what needs to be said and what needs to be told to everybody, to be educated towards a veteran. So hey, this is how we could do it. This is how we communicate together. We exposure is what
Yeah.
we need to do. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I want to do. So my little events I have, it's not about making money. I give my money to Point Man, but it's about Casa Hernandez getting out there. So that when I do start getting to the point where, hey, what's Casa Hernandez? They have this golf tournament, they have this football game, but they're also helping veterans get housed. They're helping veterans get educated to what their benefits are, or they're helping them mentally, or get them in the right direction.
Yeah.
A lot of guys these guys that are Vietnam veterans, they're getting their benefits, or they're getting payback $90,000, $70,000, but they're like 80 years old.
Right.
They could have used it when they first got out of the service, when they needed help, or we keep them from going to the direction of drugs or homelessness, or going away from separating from their family because they're not understanding themselves.
Yeah.
We need to help that, So
Yeah. No, that's part of the issue. Rob, you got any questions, man? You want to talk about, or you want to bring up, or?
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of like just taking it in, but what we're talking about is little football stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I understand the background because
Yeah.
I grew up in a similar background. So pretty much he answered in regards to like how that became the other part of his life,
Yeah.
which kind of drove him to like really the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all makes sense. He sounds like everybody else. He sounds like my uncles, your uncles. He sounds like everybody during that time.
Yeah.
So
The care, the generations have changed, but the emotional traumas are the same.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you.
they
for-
label it now because
Yeah.
they understand it now. But how long does it take to get there?
Well, yeah. I
You
think
know?
it was the closest they had was shell shock.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
then.
Exactly.
Back then that was a title.
And can you
4.
imagine them back in the day that didn't have the help? Or, people now understand it. People would always, I remember there was a guy that used to walk down the middle of the street in our block, just got out of Vietnam in his combat fatigues. And my dad would just say, just stay away from him. He's all right. Just don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Because my dad's a veteran, Korean veteran. But, we did that. We listened to our parents back in the day.
And it's wild because when I think back to that Vietnam era and how they were joining 16, 17 years old, not having a family when they came back.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like all of that gap between when they fought that war and then coming home, the stuff that they didn't get a chance to develop for their family generation. And then if you did, your wife or your children are wounded from your behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And right, and all that other stuff, and so that's why I believe it's important, as you say. It takes a lot for a Vietnam veteran to share, but we've been able to create that space. I've interviewed a lot of Vietnam veterans in different eras, but it's once you say you served, it doesn't matter what age, what era.
Yeah.
That instant connection, that brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that football players and athletes have. That's that feeling
Yeah.
that we have, no matter what era, what age, what nationality. It's like
Yeah.
you serve. Oh, we're family
Exactly.
instantly.
When you're out there, and like I said, and I can't speak for the military, but I've heard the stories. That's the guy you rely on.
Yeah.
When you're playing football, if that guy doesn't block for you, the 350 lineman is going to knock you out. So you got to depend on these
that's
guys.
the relatedness,
And that's
yeah.
the brotherhood you get that you'll never forget. And
Yeah.
I love my guys that I play football with, man. These guys are the great. You look at the pictures, they look like all convicts, but they're badass, man. You got to give it to them. But that's how veterans too. Like talking to the guys, they're just like, these guys, they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, Point Man Ministry, it's everybody.
Yeah.
And we all believe in God, so it's a good thing. And I love these guys. These guys are the
Say
best.
more about that. The Point Man Ministry, man. Say more about.
Well,
what they do.
they're international, so it's all across our country. But the one I deal with is the one in Whittier, and Pastor Rudy Aguirre, and the guys are fantastic. They go out there and they do my color guard stuff. They sell hats. They do. I give them the money because a lot of veterans come seeking help from them.
Yeah.
So they give them vouchers to stay in hotels and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
give them
yeah.
money to eat.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it, and they're open. That's an open door.
Yeah.
I want that door to be open for Casa Hernandez, so Point Man Ministry has rooms to give them and houses to give them, and I'm working that way.
Yeah.
And these mini houses are great. I'm trying to get properties so I could developing that,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we could just put them all there. My security company will take care of the security part.
I appreciate you saying that because when I was hanging out with vet hunters, and Joe Leal, he runs the vet hunters back then, and I think now he does more of the housing portion of it. But we talked about that, like the biggest thing that you have to have if you put all those, even if you clean up the streets and put them in the housing, bro, you got to have security.
Yeah, yeah.
It is insane, bro. It is insane. You just can't put people together like that, bro. You got to have a top level type of security.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The
Like,
ones
they
that
don't
have it
think
right now
about
in LA, all they do is just put a spot for everybody to get high and everything,
Exactly.
sell their
You
drugs.
see
and
what I'm
stuff.
saying? I heard that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, oh, yeah, there's a section. They just can't bring it in, but they have a section for them to still go do their drugs, bro.
yeah, that's wild.
That's wild. You're not giving no education. You got to get them cleaned
Help.
up and help. And
I tell you, the way I look at things, and maybe people don't agree with this, but you have to do the tough love there.
you
You got to
have
put them in
to.
jail, get them cleaned up until they get tired of being in jail and get tired of hearing the same thing that do this to get better, do this to get better, until they finally realize, you know what, I'm tired of coming in here. Maybe I should
Something.
do this to
Yeah.
get better
Yeah.
and start helping my family out and start getting back on track. Even to give benefits to these big warehouses like Amazon and say, hey, build a housing project across your factory,
Something.
and just people can walk to work there. You educate them, and everybody
Something.
could do,
But you
factory
got to
work.
give them help. You got to give them. We would get soldiers, veterans off the street, man. Put them in a home, in a house, an apartment, and go back and do a health check, and they're still sleeping on the floor because the mindset is still like they're on the street. They haven't utilized none of the stuff in the apartment, but they still have their bags, their clothes in the bags, and they're sleeping on the floor, and they have this beautiful apartment. Like, you got to get people help, too.
Let me ask you a question, because this is what I think, and I don't like to say it like I'm Mr. Know-It-All.
No, go ahead.
But, when military guys come out, they're so used to being told what to do that if they don't have nobody telling them what to do, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I say about Casa Hernandez. We want to help them. We want to not tell them what to do, but just help them because they're so, like, when they get out, it's like, okay, what do I do now? I mean,
Yeah.
where's my sergeant? Who's going to tell me what to do?
For sure.
Well, if they could just say, hey, look, I need help here, and this is what I need, that's what I want to do.
I did a talk in Moreno Valley last year, and a lot of organizations in Riverside are helping veterans, a lot of women organizations helping veterans. And they asked me something similar, and I told them, you got to hire veterans. If you want to support, if you truly want to help veterans, hire veterans who want to do this kind of work so that I can connect to that person directly. That's that emotional connection that you have to have if you're going to have an organization where you want to run it like a basic training. Like, that's what we want. Like, some people still want that environment because that's where we felt our sense of pride and our sense of belonging. Right.
Just like
And
when you practice sports. You practice the same thing because then it comes natural.
Yeah.
So now you're in a natural state of mind where, okay, I need somebody to help me out. I need to hear it from my fellow soldier or my fellow buddy that, hey, bro, what do you need? And then you can, like, let it all out,
Rob, anything before we take this break, man?
Kind
about
of
football?
where I'm at. It's like it's tough because we want to try to bridge the older generation with the younger generation, and it's like we want to make sure that the younger generation can make things as easy as possible for themselves to the point where whatever we did wrong, we feel like we can educate them and provide some knowledge.
So true.
In regards to what you do, how are you able to try to kind of like, I'm not saying influence the younger generation, but to the part where just to educate them and give us some awareness in regards to what your cause is and everything else, because it's not just one thing that you guys do, there's multiple things. But how are you guys trying to implement getting the organization like with the youth?
Just educating, put us out there, for people, like I said, my little events that I have, it's Casa Hernandez, but people need to know they have the ability to get this help.
Yeah.
Because Point Man Ministry, right now I'm not set there to be able to help people in like at my own clinic or community, but Point Man Ministry does, and they have the outs where I could send them to. Hey, they like you said, all these guys have been through it, and they got their benefits, but they had to go through years and years and years of it. Now all that knowledge they have, they can pass it on to the younger generation. And like I said, military guys, no matter how old you are, when you come out, you're going to listen to that veteran.
Absolutely.
Because it's all about respect.
Absolutely.
And that's how that works. So this guy telling you, this is what you got to do to get to get your benefits, to get your help.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do, and we want to get that to where the 29,000 that are living on the streets, we can help them out too.
That's what's up.
Appreciate you for sharing that. We'll save the break for the end. What you got on anything on the sports tip, man? What's up with you and what you got going on, man? Or anything next?
Oh man,
What do you think about Juju, man? What do you think about that, bro? That's so cold.
that was a moment of silence for Juju. My God, when I saw that,
Oh my!
I said,
goodness.
I think she just blew out her knee.
Damn.
I couldn't believe it. And
Just like that, we just saw her at the game with old boys.
yeah, what a difference a few days
A few
make.
days, bro.
And that absolutely ruined their chances. They won their game where she got hurt, and they won yesterday.
Yeah.
But you got UConn tomorrow. The same team they played in the Elite Eight last year where they didn't have enough. This year they had enough to beat UConn. They beat UConn earlier this season at UConn. Yes, I don't see that happening tomorrow. But shout out to UCLA women's basketball beating LSU, advancing to their first ever Final Four in program history. So that's Lady Bruins for you. It was supposed to be an all LA thing, man. Well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen unless tomorrow the girls pull it out.
Can they pull it off, you think?
No.
They don't have enough?
No.
Wow.
I think no.
No?
No.
They need Juju's points?
Yes. It's not just the points; it's the defense too.
Yeah, that I'm saying.
You know,
yeah.
but they are playing better as a team because the ball's moving around. Juju's very ball dominant, so no, she's a difference maker.
Come on,
despite that.
come on,
Okay, well,
Come
check
on.
this out.
come on.
This is what gets to get proven tomorrow. Now, are you a better team with her or without her? If they win tomorrow
Ooh,
and they can actually make it to the Final Four,
yeah.
maybe, but she is a generational talent. That's the problem. And with her impact is
But
what makes
she might have made everybody better though.
Yeah. I believe in that.
she could have.
She could have.
But that team that was constructed this year is a stacked team. It's just that you all need the difference maker to get you over the top. That is the difference maker. So we'll see how that goes.
Man.
And on the men's side, Florida and Auburn will be playing in the Final Four. They advanced this weekend.
Yeah.
What's unique about that is that they're in the same conference. Auburn won the regular season SEC championship.
Oh.
Florida won the SEC championship, the tournament.
Ah.
They won the tournament.
Yeah.
Auburn lost like 3 games out of their last 5 or something. They kind of they weren't playing that good.
Oh.
But the regular season champion and the tournament champion is meeting in the Final Four with a berth to go to the national championship game. And then Houston and Duke is playing. I will forever be a Duke hater. So therefore,
Ever.
ever. It's Carolina on mine.
Oh yeah.
So therefore, we are going to hope that Houston can pull it out. But Duke has Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag is the best white prospect since Larry Bird.
Since the Birdman?
Since Larry Bird.
Not the Birdman. There
The
was
hype,
another dude named
the
Birdman,
hype
huh?
is real. He is the truth.
Really?
He is really that damn good. He is the man. He's that guy. So,
I think it's about time, huh?
yeah.
It's been a while.
Surprised that it took so long.
Right.
You know, it's like, what's been going on, white boys? It's like, y'all ballers too. So what's going on? Like, I don't get it. Like,
was
corporate
time.
America's not that fun.
It's about time.
It's like, Larry Legend was like one of the coldest dudes ever to play the
real.
game.
For real.
He'll get a shot over everybody and let you know about it and tell you why you ain't nothing. So Cooper Flag is the truth, man.
Dang.
Like, he's Superman in my opinion. He's hope. You look at him, you can see a white kid from Delaware. I mean, from Maine. He's from Maine,
Wow.
and he is like the best. But
It was time.
But Larry Bird was from freaking Indiana.
It was
French Lick.
time. It was time.
So the middle of nowhere, it don't matter, man.
Right.
Hustle. Put your head down. You can be whatever you want to be. Just put your head down and get to
Yeah.
it. So that's
Excuse me,
what's going
sir. You interested?
on. Yeah,
We still got 2 no's, ladies and gentlemen. We
my
still
son
got 2
wants
no's.
nothing to do with it. But the funny part is, this is when you're gonna have to let it be known who you are.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna have to
at
speak.
some point.
You're gonna have to speak your truth, young man.
At some point.
He got a lot of it. But see,
Yeah.
the funny part is, we got the Fortnite going on, talking all this mess.
Oh.
He over here talking about how I'm not even a foot taller than him now. And all this mess. Now he don't want to say.
Now he
nothing.
quiet.
Yeah, he quiet now.
All right.
Our
Last
kids,
chance. Last chance. You can have this mic right here. Come on. Nope.
like,
All right.
no.
All right. We'll put you in the picture. How's that? All right. Cool.
You about to go get some food after this?
Let them know, sir, where they can find you have a website or.
I don't have a
Facebook,
website just
Instagram?
yet. I have a number,
Yeah. Go ahead.
562-536-9902. And that's my number.
Yeah. That's good.
My email, phernandez1218@yahoo.com.
Cool, sir. Thanks for hanging out with me. I
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you for everything.
Nice meeting you in
Appreciate it.
person
Next time.
finally. Again, this is the Farron Dozier Show. Trench Talk. U.S. edition right here on the Farron Dozier Show. Shouts out to Robert Lamar in the zone. Make sure you catch us at Sports Selective Media on Instagram if you want to be a guest. Shout us out, what's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
KCAA.